Cisza. Skupiasz się, wchodzisz w postać.
W rolę. Jakie role dzisiaj obierzemy?
No, ja osoby mówiącej, a ty osoby rozmawiającej z osobą mówiącą.
Zrobimy to nago?
Nie. Wbrew pozorom.
Może na końcu. Dominik Więcek zawitał nas do studia. Dzień dobry, hello.
Witam serdecznie. Kiedy się przyłączamy na ten angielski? Czy to już jest ten moment?
Jeszcze nie. Najpierw zaczynam po polsku, no bo chcemy tak przełamać trochę lody, na spokojnie sobie wejść. Zacznę od tego, że ogromnie się cieszę, że tutaj jesteś. Ja sobie tak trochę ciebie wymanifestowałem. Śledzę twoją twórczość już od jakiegoś czasu i pierwsze słowo, które przychodzi mi na myśl, gdy myślę o tobie, to wielowarstwowość. Pozwól, że to wymienię. Choreograf, fotograf, kostiumograf, reżyser ruchu, stylista, tancerz. I wiesz, w świecie pełnym etykiet, takich labels, widzę w tobie tę wielowarstwowość i nie zamykanie się właśnie do tej jednej roli, bo jako społeczeństwo często nam się narzuca, że powinieneś robić to, ale nie to. Dzisiaj będzie o tej wielowarstwowości, będzie o sztuce, będzie o artyzmie. Bardzo się na to cieszę i pozwól, że zacznę nietypowo, bo zaczniemy od jednego z pytań doktora Artura Arona,
Dawaj.
które są ci bardzo bliskie.
Są mi bardzo bliskie.
No właśnie, żeby break the ice. I zrobimy to po polsku, chociaż na co dzień posługujesz się w języku angielskim ze swoim partnerem, ze swoim mężem. No ale mam nadzieję, że ta rozmowa nie sprawi u ciebie poczucia wstydu, bo też będzie o wstydzie, więc dałem troszkę taką małą zapowiedź, o czym będziemy rozmawiać.
Dobrze.
Przejdę do pytania. Gdybyś mógł żyć 90 lat, czy wolałbyś zachować umysł, czy ciało 30-latka?
To może najpierw określę jakby kontekst, skąd w ogóle się pojawiło to pytanie w tym podcaście. Występuję w spektaklu Q&A, The Polish Edition, choreografii Rachel Erdos. Jest to spektakl, który oparty jest na pytaniach Artura Arona, który stworzył już 36 pytań, których celem teoretycznie jest to, że jeżeli za sobie je wszystkie nawzajem, to można się poznać, a może nawet zakochać w sobie. Witam serdecznie. I w tym spektaklu my te pytania zadawaliśmy sobie sami w procesie, sami na nie odpowiadaliśmy. W trakcie spektaklu zadajemy sobie je i mamy przygotowane odpowiedzi i zadajemy je również widowni. I jest to spektakl, który jest taką przestrzenią, w której ludzie autorefleksyjnie, widząc jak my odpowiadamy na te pytania, czasem ciałem, czasem mówiąc, czasem coś sugerując, mogą mieć również przestrzeń dla siebie, żeby pomyśleć sobie nad odpowiedzią na to pytanie. I to jest pytanie, które pada w tym spektaklu, bo nie wszystkie pada. I ja w tym spektaklu odpowiadam na to pytanie śpiewając piosenkę.
Chcesz nam odpowiedzieć śpiewając piosenkę?
Tutaj może nie będę śpiewać. Ja bym wybrał z perspektywy osoby, która aktualnie, która jest tancerzem, wybrałbym ciało.
Zaskoczyłeś mnie
Tak.
odpowiedzią.
Jak masz umysł, który nie będziesz ogarniał tego, co się dzieje, a gorzej wydaje mi się mierzyć się z ograniczeniami swojego ciała. I ja czuję, mimo iż jeszcze nie mam 90 lat, ale mam te 30 wspomniane, dokładnie 33.
Czy ja wypomniałem ci twój wiek w tym podcaście?
Nie, ja go sobie sam nieustannie wypowiadam. Ja czuję, że ja się już teraz wymagam z niedomaganiami mojego ciała, mimo iż skończyłem studia ponad 10 lat temu, ale pamiętam, jaką formę miałem wtedy, jaki był zakres mobilności moich stawów, zwłaszcza stawów biodrowych, moich barków i tak dalej. I teraz te 10 lat później cały czas chciałbym, żeby one miały tą mobilność, jaką miało wtedy, a to nie jest możliwe. I ja raczej jestem w procesie próby podtrzymania swojego ciała przy funkcjonowaniu, raczej niż jakiejś możliwości jego wielkiej progresji. Więc wizja tego, że moje ciało mogłoby bardzo nie domagać, jest dla mnie jakaś bardzo nieprzyjemna.
W jednej z głosówek, których się wymieniliśmy, bo my już mieliśmy mały podcast między sobą, powiedziałeś, że nie jesteś perfekcjonistą i to bardzo się łączy z moim programem, bo tutaj odchodzimy od perfekcji, no i wchodzimy na angielski.
So let's switch into
We're
English.
showing different accents. We're getting away from that idea that anything is perfect because it's not, right? There is no such thing as flawless accent pronunciation. And I'm asking about the body because for me, body and mind is connected. And when your body performs and your mind creates, who is the real artist in this case, body or mind?
I would say the body is a tool for, especially since I'm working as a choreographer in the style that I work in, what I offer on the stage, what I try to achieve as a choreographer and director when I'm creating my performances. I think that it all comes from my mind and therefore later on is translated into the body, and the body becomes a tool into helping what I try to achieve. But also the relationship is a little bit switching. I sometimes have the comparison. Usually when I create a performance, I also perform in it. So there is a creator who is the mastermind and the performer who is a body. And I think it's an equal relationship of how much I, as a choreographer, inspire myself as the body and the performer, and how much as a performer I give to the choreographer. And it's a relationship that is just like, it keeps on giving one to another one.
Muszę wam coś powiedzieć. Jeszcze niedawno byłem po prostu jednym z klientów Nikalab. Szukałem czegoś, co wesprze mnie na co dzień, będzie bezpieczne, przebadane, bez marketingowych bajek. No i trafiłem. Dziś jestem ambasadorem marki, która naprawdę robi niezłą robotę. Łączy wiedzę, praktykę i nowoczesne formuły tak, aby dbanie o siebie było w końcu proste i przyjemne. Moim game changerem okazała się formuła blasku. Suplement, dzięki któremu mam promienną skórę, a moje włosy są w końcu mocne. Dorzucam wam kod DAMIAN20. Jest dostępny również w opisie tego odcinka. Polecam. The body is artist's canvas, takie płótno, so they say. Is it also for you the case?
No.
No. Jestem zaskoczony.
Yes, the body can be a canvas, but I think it also comes from my education. I remember when I was told so many times that my body has to be a canvas, that it has to be an empty bowl for somebody else to use it and to feel it in a way that they want. And therefore, I remember there were teachers who were saying like, you should not have tattoos, for example, because that also is destroying the blankness. The body as a temple, and also the body should be a little bit transparent, because the more body is defined by something, the less it becomes a space for other place to create on top of it. But I do think that what is the most interesting in also how I work is the body and its history that it brings to the table into the process. So my last performance, Glory Game, was created with 6 dancers, and we all have a history of sport. This performance touches the topic of sport and the body. And we all were trained as professional athletes. And therefore, our body is already not transparent because we have it. I, as a former swimmer who was very bad at swimming, maybe we can talk about it later, I was really bad at it. From the swimming, I have a lot of open shoulder mobility and hip mobility. And I started dancing very late because I started dancing when I was 18. But because of the history of swimming, there's something in my body that is already through that. So my body already is not a canvas.
As it should be.
As it should be told by some people. And also the fact that I'm pale, that I have freckles, that I have now long red hair, that my face looks in a certain way that some people could call it feminine or androgynous. It already doesn't make my body transparent. So therefore, why would I try to make my body transparent rather than really go into the qualities that it already has and dig into it and like use it
and also be authentic
and profit from it as well.
Yeah. They also say that artists feel more, they see more. And how do you see world? How does Dominik Więcek see world? Do you feel more? Do you see more?
I don't know if I see more. I try to observe more. Maybe I would say it like this. And I remember when I was a child, I think maybe from my mom, I got a book about horoscope. And it was like a small book that was defining like which star sign has which qualities. And I'm not into horoscope, I'm not into numerology, but I remember that as a kid that was 10, that read that as a Sagittarius, I'm a person that looks at the world through the pink glasses. I asked my mom, what does it mean? Because back then I didn't know. And she said that means that somebody is very positive and tries to always look at the world from the bright side. And I don't know if the fact that I've read it at the age of 10 defined how I look the world right now.
Could be the
or
case.
Is it the horoscope that tells the truth and the Sagittarius people, they look at the world like this? But yeah, I do think that I look at the people through the bright side and through the pink glasses.
You mentioned childhood, and I think this all starts there with the upbringing, right? Like you are born and then also the environment kind of defines you. Like you're growing and then you're learning from the surroundings. But I also think some people are just born artists, that they're born and they just have this intrinsic need to perform. I was like this. Like I would always meet with my family gatherings. I would like show up, dress up, and I wanted to be in the spotlight so that people can hear me, so that I can grasp their attention. How was it for you when you go back in time for this little Dominik?
I think I always liked, and it still is like this, the process of creation rather than the spotlight itself.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, one is linked with another one. And of course, I was also the person who performed for my parents. I remember I once got a keyboard and I used to play at family parties, happy birthday, and people were singing to it. But I like the process of it more rather than the fact of being in a spotlight. And of course, there's something now, especially more since I'm really doing it
and you are in the spotlight
professionally, since I decided this is going to be my life path to be on a stage. But I remember once I watched Tomasz Karolak, a Polish actor, interview on Kuba Wojewódzki show, and he said that, I don't know if we can locate here other people, but let's keep it for now. And he said that there's something very eccentric about being an artist, and that you really have to be like exhibitionist if you want to go on a stage. And it's really, people come from the idea of you have to want to be a star, like that everybody that is on the stage has this will to be a star, or like to be in a spotlight.
Do you agree with that?
And I don't agree, because I never went on a stage, or like I never created from the perspective that in the end I will go on a stage for people to applaud me or to people to appreciate me. I have always started from the point of a subject that interests me, and I used my mastermind and my body as a tool to create something, and therefore in the end to share it on the stage. So I never went on the stage from the perspective, I want to be in a spotlight. I always went on the stage with a perspective, I lived through something and I want to share an experience, or I found something interesting and I want to share it. I did the research, I found something that I found worth deconstructing, and I did it on the stage in order to share a value, an emotion, a subject, a political thing on the stage, and to share it with people rather than to share myself itself.
Nie sądziłem, że świat sztuki da mi taką wolność.
I said that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I still sign under it.
What is it about the art that makes you feel free? And what kind of freedom are we talking about here?
We're talking about a freedom of composing and sharing the thing that you want to do in the way that you want to do. That I have a freedom of picking up a topic, trying to find a way to share it, and then I can do it. And it sounds very easy and sounds like it's achievable for anybody. But I do think that artists are the people that have the courage to do it in a way, and to claim the space to do it, and to say, I find this thing valuable and worth, and therefore I want to share it with other people.
Art can also affect our everyday lives, right? Like, for example, in my artistic work, I talk with people, right? And then I see that my relationships with other people, with my partner, with my friends, improves. And I want to know, what has art taught you in your everyday life? Because it's also connected.
So it's really hard for me to now differentiate. That's the one. Art and daily life, because it's so blended into one. Like my closest friends are people that are artists as well. My husband is an artist. So therefore I'm all the time surrounded by art. And my main work field is also art. Whatever I do, I feel like it gives the art approach into it. Even now when I'm doing comedy content on Instagram and TikTok, and some people might call it entertainment, I still call it art. That's why I prefer to call myself a creator or an artist doing things online rather than an influencer, because I think that's a perspective that matches me more. A small break for the people that are doing renovation outdoors. Nie mogę dotknąć kubka.
Może.
Nie mogę dotknąć kubka. O Boże. Jak się ty czujesz z tym, że jedna z twoich najbardziej popularnych rolek to jest Łukasz mówiący o tym, że...
Pierda?
O pierda.
Ej, dobrze, no.
Tym dźwiękiem nic nie zrobimy, ale jeśli tak...
Takie pierdy to są, no. To może też coś.
O pierdę. Ja akceptuję. Możemy też o nich porozmawiać, mówiąc o perfekcji. Are we still rolling? Is it recording? So there is this topic of perfection. We will come back to the balance, but I want to use this opportunity to say about the perfectionism in work. And I think I'm a perfectionist. I try to do all the best, but I also accept the fact that sometimes there comes a point where you reach a limit and you have to count in the costs, or is it still worth pushing, stressing, spending time? And recently, and like I came up with a Polish expression that I use kind of frequently.
What is it?
It's, I can swear here, I guess. No i chuj, kurwa, tak już musi być. And I think this is for me a statement that says, okay, we reached the point where you just have to go with it. And I think like right now we can wait for 1 hour for the person outdoors. It actually stopped for the person outdoor to stop drilling the wall. Or we can say, no i chuj, kurwa, tak musi być. And
Tak
we keep on
być.
recording.
Lecimy dalej.
So the everyday life and the art is somehow blended into one. Therefore, I don't know if I have a private life or if I have only the artistic one, because I also don't have a lot of free time. And if I have it, I use it for work reasons. I work a lot, but I also love my job. I love everything that I do.
And you just call yourself workaholic?
I call it that full-time workaholic. And
it sounds familiar.
and
We're in the same boat.
But I chose all the work that I do. It's, drilling comes back. And I am proud of all the things that I achieve in my work life. And I feel my hunger with it. And I'm constantly hungry for things. And that's the thing that makes me feel like I've eaten well. And
are you constantly hungry for more?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever reach a point where you'll be satisfied, fulfilled?
I've reached that point already. And I am already a person that constantly on the way of eating tells myself, I'm fine with what I've ate.
I'm there.
I'm satisfied with what I achieved. But let's see what is still there.
Okay.
But I'm also, I think I set myself short-term goals rather than long-term goals. And also a story from childhood. When maybe I was 12, and I was listening to some, maybe 12 is maybe 15. I've listened to like motivational podcasts, and somebody in this podcast said set yourself goals that are 30% higher than you are right now. That you can dream big and like have a high perspective, but you can also set yourself a bunch of lower goals that are 30% out of your reach, and therefore they are achievable in a certain period of time.
Exactly.
And therefore you can, constantly like push it more. And I think also...
And that's your perspective?
And that's my perspective. And I think in the career, let's call it career, what I have, I've already managed to push the 30% so many times in my life, reaching points that I thought back then were unreachable. And for example, as a stylist, I never in my life thought that one day I could style a glamour cover magazine. It's out of reach in a way that Glamour magazine has a beautiful Maja Naskręcka that styles people there, and she's amazing at her work. It's also not popular that outside stylist is working there. And I never thought that's even a perspective.
Yes, you did.
But it happened. And that's a goal that was out of my reach. So it was not even put on my 5-year plan.
Agenda.
Or my agenda or whatever. And I got there. And I never expected that. And maybe that's also the feeling of success, the satisfaction that came with it
was bigger, probably.
Was even bigger because it was so unexpected.
Controversial question.
Please.
I need to ask those. Is there something that art takes away from you?
From me or from me?
From me. We're talking about you.
Yeah. What art takes away from me?
Trudne się wylosowało.
I'm trying to come up with a valid question for society, but also for me.
I tell you mine.
Yeah, please. Then I will copy yours and I will say it's mine and we will edit it in a way. This is going to be my story now.
When you're an artist, you're in the constant cycle of creating. So your energy...
Oh, that's not a disadvantage for me.
That's not a disadvantage, but I tell you
it's what I want from being an artist, to be in the constant process of creation.
But for me, it's like my energy, my vulnerability also, right? I don't want to use the word sacrifice because it's a big word and it's a strong word. And I don't think my work is my sacrifice. But I do see it that way, that some people relax and they watch my show. And then I have to observe, constantly think. So for me, it's kind of like I gain, but I might also lose a bit of, I don't want to say me, part of me, but it's kind of linked. You don't see it that way, I see. Okay.
No.
So
I would say that what I'm losing maybe from art is the fact that I'm so dedicated to it and I love it so much and I love doing it so much and creating so much. It takes so much time, especially since, as you mentioned in the beginning, there is a list of the professions that I want to do. And I also have a hunger for more. Like I could say that I'm a stylist, but I also, in all the fields that I do, I try to progress. So I learn how to sew, I learn how to create clothes, and I want to progress in it. And if I would like to spend every day a moment of time on trying to get better in all the things that I have in my mind, there will be no space left for anything else. And I think maybe that's the time suffer that I have, is that it's very time consuming, that the ambitions that I have and the things I want to learn, the things I want to do, they really take a lot of space.
How does this
But just this feels like complaining.
No, it's not.
I feel like I just complained.
No.
But I'm really happy with my life and with what I'm doing. So I'm not complaining.
I'm just curious because there's so many things
rather bragging.
There's so many things you do. And how does one affect the other? Because in this sphere, let's call it, I think you can learn a lot from each of those disciplines. So my question is, how do they affect each other?
So I believe creativity is a universal tool. And trained in one field can be adjusted to another fields. And a lot of times I, as a choreographer, have been working with images, and the knowledge that I have as a photographer was very helpful. The fact that I can work with a body and direct a body in a theater or in a dance, it means I can also work with a fashion model on a fashion photo shoot to tell her what to do in order to achieve some certain image that I want. So you can, of course, use tools from different fields and combine them into something. And there's also this universal creativity weird thing that trained as a quality, like open up tools to all the other ways and paths.
I like that because it's all interconnected.
I recently, another podcast that I'm going to mention, Amy Poehler has a podcast, Good Hang, and she had a podcast with Rashinda Jones, and she is a person that does a lot of things, and she said that for her, and I applaud that, and I take it now and I use it as my words, that she thinks that digging into certain topics on a shallow level, into many topics on even shallow level, has a certain beautiful value rather than digging into one thing and committing into it. And just like this kind of switches and throwing things from one field to another thing can be very helpful. As a choreographer, I think I have a good sense of composition on the stage because I worked with cropping the images and searching for the perfect angle in photography for so many years. So I think there's,
of course,
it contributes one to another one.
And what potential is there on the stage and on social media? Because I think it's somewhat two different words. What do you think?
Yeah, those two different words.
We agree on that.
Finally. Finally, bad. Got it. Finally, he said yes to something. Yes and, not a no and. So I believe that, so I started creating on social media out of certain need. I like the fact that the process on social media, the process of creating something for social media is way shorter. And from the moment of an idea through the whole production value, which usually is me gluing my phone to the window in my room.
It's like that.
And montaging it in 5 to 10 minutes and then posting it. And there you can directly get a review or a response from people. And also the amount of people that it can reach is actually tremendous, unlimited. And I have videos that have 7 million views. So it's, I don't know how much I would have to perform in my life.
7 million views?
How much I would sacrifice and dedicate to the artwork in order to one day be able to say that
7 million people watched you.
7 million people watched me on the stage. Yeah. So there is a beautiful value of it, of how snap, how immediate it can be in all, both in the way of creating it as well as getting response from it and communicating with the people that are your audience members. This is, a very beautiful thing. And I also think there are certain things, and, when I work in theater, on the contrary, like from the moment when I had the first idea to when I did Glory Game came 7 years of research. And in the 7 years time, there was a constant thinking, trying to find a way to do it. I got a half-year scholarship from the Ministry of Culture and Science. I got a 1-year scholarship from the city Warsaw. And it's a long process. And it's beautiful. In the end, I'm super proud of all the journey that was there. But I'm not able to, to do it with everything, like to spend so much time on something. But also not everything can be a subject of a theater play. Like the fact that I lived on the 4th floor as a child in my hometown Chorzów became such a source of ideas for me for the social media content about how in a funny way, what people were saying when they were reaching it's like, just to clarify, it was the 4th floor without an elevator, which in Poland is the law that from 4 floors up, you need to have an elevator. And I lived in a 4th floor building without elevator. So the topic of my friend, like if we meet at my place or at their place, it was usually their place because nobody wanted to climb up the 4th floor. Really? And this became, really a very fruitful idea or like a concept for me to create content on social media that turned out to be very relatable for people. I created from the perspective of what people say when they reach the 4th floor. I created it from the perspective of a housing estate who tries to sell the 4th floor apartment and to list the pros. And I'm happy I could do it. I had so much fun creating it. But this is the social media material. I'm not going to make a 1-hour-long piece in a theater about living on the 4th floor.
Could be fun, though. Could be interesting.
Could be fun, though. But this doesn't interest me. Yeah. Could be fun. I'm sure somebody would be able to do it amazingly. Maybe even I would be able to do it amazingly, but this doesn't interest me. But at the same time, the 7 years that I've spent on working on the performance Glory Game is totally untranslatable into reels that are 40 seconds.
Yeah. And what can one take away from the other?
What can one take away from the other?
Social media and
social media.
Although social media is also a scene, but you know what I mean. Like
I know what you mean.
Theater.
So again, it doesn't take away anything besides time, because all the things that I do, that I did before I started posting on social media, it came a moment when I'm posting almost daily, and I'm not posting trends. I'm not reproducing content from out of Poland. I'm doing very personal projects there. And that takes a lot of time. And I have plenty of ideas. I am having a list of ideas for the future. And I feel like once I started, it's like an endless box of taking from this tool. And I think I somehow maybe a little bit understood the tool of social media in order that I am coming up more easily now than in the beginning with the ideas I want to do there. But it takes time. It really takes time.
But we said these are two different worlds, and you agreed on that.
Yeah, but I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Just to, again, disagree with you. there is a beautiful value of the fact that now I create on social media and people recognize me and they want to come and see my performance. And that's the value. I have even goosebumps right now when I think about it, because I am right now almost at the end of touring performance called Glory Game around Poland. And the tour comes from a program called Theater Poland. And the idea is that this program supports and finances touring a piece to cities that have no theater. So we performed recently in a school stadium.
In small towns.
In a very small towns that I have never even heard of. I performed 2 days ago in a city that has 4,000 citizens. And people in those cities normally don't really come to see art. A lot of them are not really aware there's even a cultural center or a place in their city that gives them the opportunity. But the amount of people that on the tour came to see the performance because they saw that I am performing in it and they thought they like me or they see my content and they find it relatable, funny or whatever, and therefore they all want to go to see a theater. It's really beautiful.
That is a great feeling, no?
That is a great, goosebumps second time.
Body, yeah.
And they come to see, and a lot of time they share that it's the first time they've ever heard of something like dance theater or performing arts. And they come and they watch it. And this program also gives the possibility that after the performance where I was doing the artist talk with the people and I was coming and explaining them, they could ask me any questions they wanted about the performance. And it's a beautiful value that this social media thing that I do and talking about making poop on social media and creating a formula for how much underwear you have to take for your trip, or like talking about living on the 4th floor, gives me the possibility to attract people to me, and therefore they are attracted to also get to know me on the other fields.
And on the other side also.
And on the other side as well, especially since it's such a transparent thing for me that that I also do that. And I find I could not be more happy. And I think as an artist also at the time right now, I'm a little bit at the point of trying to think like, what can art give to people and how much art is a bubble? And like, what are the topics that you can try to do in theater in order to have a real impact? Because I'm now, I have a flow now because I've been thinking about it for a very long time. And it's the first time I can express it.
Go ahead.
And I've talked about it with my husband like for such an extensive period of time. Well, like the topics that you reach in a theater, they reach the people that will come into the theater. And usually it's a bubble. You can talk about, and I did it, about queer rights in theater, but usually the people that come to the theater, they don't need to be educated on queer rights. They are not the people that will tell, they will be against same-sex marriages. So therefore I'm thinking, okay, so what do I do in this position? And one of the ideas that I had recently is that maybe the next performance I could choreograph or direct will be a performance for kids. Therefore, it would maybe tour around kindergartens and other audience members that, you can still tell them something that they don't know and reach a little bit of unaware or a random person in the audience. But now, knowing that I can, as a person who creates on social media, attract people to come to the theater, I believe I can reach a little bit outside of the bubble of the people that normally go there. And when somebody comes to see my performance and they say that it's the first time they've been in a theater or the first time they've seen dance theater piece, I find it unspeakable and beautiful. And I'm so proud of it. And I'm so grateful also for the social media to give me this opportunity. So therefore, when you ask me what social media takes away from me as an artist, with all the gratitude that I have to say nothing.
So your mission...
Give it back to you, please.
Your mission, therefore, based on what you said, mission is a big word, is to really get out of this bubble and educate others who might not be even aware of, for example, queer rights problems or whatever it is that you want to do, correct?
Yeah, especially since we agreed in the beginning that I am not a person that goes on a stage in order to be a spotlight. I go on a stage as a lawyer for a matter that I'm trying to bring up. And therefore the matter is the primary goal of what I want to do on the stage. So therefore attract people to see the matter that I want to share. Stunning.
And how is queer art received in Poland now, if we were to compare it to Germany? Because I tell you what, I'm a huge fan of drag.
Yeah.
And I love RuPaul's Drag Race. This is my guilty pleasure. But then I go down the Warsaw Street and I don't really see a lot of drag queens on the streets. It's not the case in Berlin, I know, or Hamburg. I know, I've been there, I've seen it. So if we were to compare, because you're also, well, that's actually a question I have for you. I don't want to make assumptions, but does your queer identity affect also your artistic work? Does it influence it?
Yeah, like as we already agreed, just the fact that my body looks queer and that I am queer, the way that I behave is queer, it's already not a blank canvas of the paper that goes on the stage and become anything. I'm already going on the stage and I already bring the queerness with me, even if I'm not touching directly the queerness topic in my performances. And speaking of the comparison on how it works in Germany and how it works in Poland, there is a certain censorship that I would say could be happening in Poland. I remember, so as an independent artist, the way that I search for funds to do a performance is through open calls, is through funds, and a lot of them sooner or later are somehow connected to the Ministry of Culture and National Heritage.
And then,
Bang. And then,
you have it.
Then we have it in a way that I think once a curator that I talked with taught me that if you would write an application for an open call to a Polish Ministry of Culture and Science, which is the one that gives the most money, so that's the one that we all crave for, and the piece would be about the fact that women has not equal rights in Poland. If the ministry would accept this idea and give you the money to touch this topic, it would somehow admit to the fact that this is a topic and a problem that is worth evaluating or like worth taking up in an art field. And Ministry of Culture and National Heritage, you know,
it's more of a, now we're entering like systematic problem, right? That they have to approve it and they won't do it, most likely, because that means that they're not doing job that's good enough,
yeah,
right?
Totally. So,
Interesting.
But luckily, there are places in Poland that are less afraid, and one of them is Komuna Warszawa. That is a beautiful space that gives a lot of space for artists to to touch the topics they want in a way that they want.
Dominik, I want to touch upon the topic of identity.
Yes.
Still, because we kind of said that these are two different worlds. I want to get back to the social media and the scene. Are they ever contradictory? I know I'm trochę gryzę, but I have my opinion on that.
So please share your opinion, and then it's very likely I will disagree. But maybe you can, maybe let's treat your opinion as the starting point.
We said that Instagram is just unplanned, unstructured. It's not refined when we compare it to theater. But I also feel like it's two kind of different personalities, because you have a different also audience that you have to show your art to, right?
Or satisfy.
Or satisfy, because that's a good one, right? Because there are some needs and some expectations from you as a content creator. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I can see it from my perspective, being a journalist now sitting with you and also doing a journalist in the field. These are two different identities, and I'm trying to like swap between them, and it's working, but sometimes they just don't go together.
But do you
they
feel
don't go hand in hand.
that it is a different personality, like you clone yourself and that's a different being? Or do you think that your identity is like a big box and the social media is a part of this box in a corner, and the journalism or the other things that you do is just another part of the box? I feel it more like this. I feel like I'm not doing something contradictory to whatever else I do in the art field. It's just on social media, I use the part of it, and the part of it that is more suitable for this platform. So it's not like I have a separate identity for the social media. It's not like I have a different way of being. It's more than that on social media, I use maybe more narrow things from my being.
From your pool.
Yeah, from the pool of the
skills or
totally.
of potentials you have.
Yeah, but that also comes from a lot of, I find it very satisfying to know that what I can do can reach people. And I could use different part of the box that I have and maybe therefore reach smaller amount of people. But I find it very satisfying that I can reach more people, still being in my, like with the pool of the things, of the pool of being Dominik Więcek, that I can take this part and still be fine with myself and give it a voice. Also, I think theater is not really a space where you have a lot of voice for being funny. Like I use my funny skills on performances, and a lot of times I create funny things or things that are absurd. And if you would come to see Glory Game or any other performance that I do, you would see the sense of humor I have on social media and the observational humor, the physical comedy that I do on social media.
It's all interconnected for you.
It's
somewhat.
Choreographically speaking, body language. Yes. Yeah, I think it's connected. It's not like maybe on social media I give a certain part of my personality a bigger voice. But also, I'm not able to make a performance when I am all the box at once. I don't think it's possible. That are performances that I am more vulnerable, that are like Cafe Miller, which is really like, in this performance, I feel like I just took my head, opened it, and shared my emotions. And in Bromance, I talk about my shame and masculinity. And in Sticky Fingers Club, I talk about the risk and the social aspect of failing. And, it's all in a box. So I don't think there's a possibility to be all the pool at once, all the box at once. There are different platforms or like I create different opportunities for different things from the thing that I am. And now it happened that this part of the pool on social media is being so recognized, and it has the biggest range of accessibility, of richness, of range of people that I attract or like people that I reach. And that's fine. It's not like I'm faking something else on social media and it's contradictory to all the other things. That's why I'm asking you, do you feel like it's a different
For me,
you?
it's more separate, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like entering a role, I would say. And I wouldn't call it just one box. Well, we disagree to a lot of things, but I want to take it one step further because I think on that one we will agree.
Okay.
Hopefully. You're in an intercultural relationship, right? And there's also the identity of an English-speaking Dominik. And English is not a native language of your husband.
Yeah.
So what about this identity? Is it a true identity? Can I call something a true... I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. Can I call it a true identity when you navigate in a foreign language with your partner, with your husband? Because for me, it was really a problem when I had intercultural relationships, that I would never be fully me. I'm fluent in English, but I'm never going to be that funny as I am in Polish. So are there parts of Dominik that your husband doesn't know?
Yeah, and we talk about it. And I even said to my husband that I think there are certain parts of me that he will never get to know, because there is a certain way that I construct a sentence in Polish. There is a certain way of how I wordplay, of how I use cultural references. And it's the most terrible thing, Sometimes I want to say to him, I wilk syty I owca cała, and then I have to tell him, oh, there is this Polish saying about a wolf and a sheep that they both live and they are happy. And, he will not get it.
And even if he will get it, it's not funny anymore because you had to explain the joke.
It's no longer funny. Yeah. But I think also for me, it took quite some time how to relax in English language. How not to, get stressed that now I'm switching into English. Therefore, I have to speak, before I came here, I was wondering what kind of English I will be using today. Will I try to sound more posh? Will I try to make like a fancy schmancy English? And because with my husband, the way that I speak with English with him, I speak with him in a very Polish accent. I speak like this. And I don't care how we speak. And this is how I talk with him. And we always make fun of it because he is German, I am Polish, and we speak in English. I can speak a little bit of German. He speaks no Polish. but he speaks French and he speaks Dutch and he speaks Spanish. He refuses to learn Polish, unfortunately. But our language became like a really inside language of the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as he will not get the Polish side of me, I think I have maybe a little bit more access to his German side because I understand German. Mostly, he doesn't understand any Polish, so I think like I maybe have a little bit more access to. There is a little bit of an equality there,
Interesting.
but that is fine, and I don't think I have a certain certain English personality comparing to the Polish one. And of course, there is, like as you said, sense of humor, pop culture references. He will not get Znacie every night, and he will not get it. And I would have to, educate it on him, educate it to him. Something with him. And also, his English is way better than mine. And he also now studies in Holland creative production. And a lot of times when I ask him what he's learning there, he uses words that I don't understand, and I have to ask him what this word means. And that's a funny concept in a marriage. That I talk with my husband, and I have to ask him if he can say it in an easier way or in a way that I will understand, because I cannot get it.
It demands a level of communication, and a constant talking to a partner.
Yeah, in English.
In English, that's not your native language. Neither his.
Neither his. Yeah. And I think I'm slowly still learning how I can think in English and be in English.
It's a difficult thing to do, I think.
Yeah, it takes time.
So complex.
Yeah.
But it demands a lot of work, as I said. At the beginning, I mentioned shame, and I want to now touch upon that. We'll slowly be going to be wrapping up. But you said glory gain.
Yes, many times.
I want to see
it. Really talking about the product that I created.
And you appear completely naked. And now the question I have for you is that you said you started creating it 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
The idea came up 7 years ago. I was not naked in my mind yet on the stage,
and now
but
you are.
It came in a process.
And now you are. And now your fan base increased tremendously.
Yeah.
So people can pay less than 50 zł to see your butt.
Sometimes they can even see it for free, if you're right. It's really, it's not only the butt that they can see.
Really?
Really.
The whole body.
It's the whole body, the full frontal nudity that is in the performance.
And do you feel shame in these situations now that your fan base has increased?
No, I don't feel shame. I'm very proud, not of me being naked on the stage, but for the matter that I get naked on in order to achieve something on the stage. So speaking again, it's not me being naked so that people can come and say how beautiful I looked. It's more about what it comes from, what was the idea behind it. And I believe in the idea behind it so that I got naked on the stage. And I'm more worried about the fact that now my nudity became so accessible in a way.
Especially in the era of social media and digital world, right?
And we really try to take care. But also, I'm not the only one naked on the stage. There is 6 of us. And I also, as a choreographer and
but
the
you're
leader,
the only one who's active on social media and who's a public person.
Yes, but if somebody would come to the performance and would like to take a secret selfie of my nudity, it's very likely that the person will also show the other people because of the way the performance is structured. So I am really a bit more worried about that other performance didn't sign for the fact that now there can be a person that would like to come and watched the performance from the perspective of trying to secretly capture my penis and to make a closer picture of it or whatever. Just to say now, penis on the stage is the least attractive body part that can ever be presented. It's like out of the stress, the penis looks like this. So there's no worry if somebody wants to come and evaluate the size of my penis on the stage from me being naked on the stage. It's not it. It shrinks. I think
it shrinks.
It shrinks to a barrel size, smaller sometimes even. And just to say, theaters in Poland, they save electricity. So the stages are always very cold. And I guess you also know what happens.
The penis shrinks.
The penis shrinks in coldness. So, but On the other hand, like okay, lost the thought.
You know, I'm laughing because it's not. That's I thought I had in my mind is that we can make jokes about it, but also nudity. It's a subject that's still a taboo, and I want to know now, being a bit more serious, what is our approach to nudity in Poland? Is it still considered a taboo thing?
I would say it depends on the city and depends on the place and on the context. So speaking again about the Glory Game, we now had a tour around Poland, and some of the cities where we performed, they asked us if we could perform in underwear. And I said yes, I agreed to that. I had an extensive discussions with the places, trying to convince them that the nudity in the performance is not bad, or like it's not provoking. It's not like provoking for the
That's
thought
not
of
the
provoking.
idea of the
And
art.
And therefore I would like them to give a little bit more credit and trust in the fact of why I use the nudity on the stage. But I also understand that there are places in Poland, in smaller cities, where it takes only one right-wing politician from a local government who will come and see the performance and say, in my city, there are naked, small
atrocity.
penises on the stage, cut the budget. And I know those places are afraid of that. But at the same time, we perform in Ludkikowice-Zdrój, a small city in Poland, and we performed in underwear, and at the after talk, one of the audience members asked me if the performance got censored in order to be performed here. And I had to say, yes, it got censored. We had to put on underwear.
The last question I had was, how can we change the way we perceive nudity in our society? And an obvious answer is to do what you do with the art. That's how I see it. But I want to go deeper. Nudity in art doesn't mean sexual, doesn't have to have sexual connotation. And I want to get your opinion on that. What can art allow in that sense?
So art can allow anything.
I like that. There's no boundaries.
There's no boundaries. Also, all the tools, not only nudity, can be used in many different ways, and it can be provoking, it can be about beauty, it can be about cultural, pop cultural, historical, political aspect of the body, to present it in a way like this. I don't really care about nudity, so I think I'm not the right person to be asked this question, because I don't. For me, it's like a 0.0. I've seen, maybe because I've seen already many nude performances or performances were using nudity, sometimes overusing the nudity. Therefore, for me, it's not such a big topic, but maybe also because I, as a dancer, am using my body as a tool for the mastermind already for a very long time. And a lot of times I feel like my body is very much mine, because I feel it 1000%. But also my body is not mine, because I give it to the matter of the subject. And therefore I get a distance perspective of it. It's like, a little bit like stepping out and looking at your body from outside.
And do you ever get that feeling that you look at your body from the outside as a viewer?
When I choreograph, I have to do it in order to have the perspective of an audience member. But I also feel like I do my own projects that they are the most important for me, but I also worked for other people, and therefore with everything that I have, I became a tool for them, and I was giving my body to them. And therefore, like this separation of me and working with my body and all of this like somatic, like I feel the spine, I feel all the lympha in my body swimming, to the fact that sometimes I work in opera and somebody was like, okay, you do this there. And, and I did this there. And it was, it was not about what I wanted to do and how I directed my body. It was about my body as a tool. And I use a little bit more connection in order to give somebody else the access to my body and to use it.
Dominik, na tym będziemy kończyć. Dziękuję ci bardzo, dawaj pioneczkę, było super.